You bring it. Okay, sorry. Now I say sorry now. Okay, sorry.
If you
I will not ask you the question again. Okay, sorry.
when I give you answer now, then you
Okay. Explain again. I'm not asking you no more question again. Okay, that's why.
I'm going where so one of my friend called me.
Yeah, the same way you going to now.
Yeah, the same man.
The mentor say one for you to go steal.
No, yeah. So when I go to the man, he say clean the car. Then they are two now.
In a Jeep.
In a G. Then they are two.
A big Jeep.
Yeah.
That one.
Black BG. Photo G. Yeah. So when I clean the car now,
air condition all inside.
No, Papi, you can't wait for me to spin. I'll leave the water now. You can judge people.
I just asking you a question. Sorry.
You can judge people like you can here.
No, I'm a journalist. I beg you. Sorry.
The way you talk in the question, let's say when I move from here, I'll fruit it.
I'm taking time. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Say I can take time to
explain.
Sense of gratitude and humility. It has been an honor, the privilege to serve as your president and commander-in-chief for the past 6 years. Together in 2018, we embarked on a journey to build a united, peaceful, and prosperous Liberia. And I am deeply thankful for the trust and support you have bestowed upon me and my administration during my tenure. As we navigate the complexity of governance, the partnership was instrumental in the development and implementation of policies and programs that aim to bring progress and development to our great nation. Reflecting on the accomplishment of these 6 years, let me tell you that I am proud of what we have achieved together. We have built roads, supported free wires and free tuition at high schools and public universities, stabilize the macroeconomic challenges we face in 2018, build hundreds of pro-poor housing units, and achieve on so many fronts that we are able to list here today. However, I acknowledge that there is always room for improvement, and perhaps more could have been done under different circumstances. Regrettably, some of the long-term projects we initiated did not reach completion during my tenure. I am hopeful that the incoming administration will carry the torch forward and bring these initiatives to fruition for the benefit of all Liberians. Fellow compatriots,
think that he will be a king. What he does is to convert the kingdom into a take care of goats. Why should you be surprised when the goats are eaten? This is the same. And Africa is only going to realize our potential in all areas when, by dint of choice, we enable and allow our best men and women to serve in different areas. I've heard it being said about Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore. I've heard it being suggested about Mahathir Mohamad in Malaysia. I've heard it being said about Japan. I've heard it being said about other countries. But there was a conscious decision on the part of those individuals and the followership. We always talk about leaders, but we never talk about the followers. The followers must also style up. Africans on average are for some reason attracted to thieves. Africans are for some reason attracted to men and women who cannot serve her. And when they are not served, then they complain. When Africans are told, choose you now whom we shall release, Jesus of Nazareth or Barabbas, they say, release Barabbas. And when Barabbas behaves like Barabbas, they say, why are you not behaving like Christ? It cannot be done.
In May of 2001, signed a second of two executive orders, number 13213, Defense Exhibit D310, in which it was stated, and I quote, the government of Liberia's complicity in the RUF's illicit trade in diamonds and its other forms of support for the RUF are direct challenges to the United States foreign policy objectives in the region, as well as the rule-based international order that is critical to the peace and prosperity of the United States. Therefore, I find these actions by the government of Liberia contribute to the unusual and extraordinary threat to the foreign policy of the United States described in Executive Order 13194, with respect to which the President declared a national emergency. This executive order did not say the alleged complicity, it concluded the complicity. The conspiracy was born, all systems put into motion, and here I stand today. I never stood a chance. This is the broader contextual matrix that regrettably did not and still has not seen the light of day in these proceedings, despite the gallant efforts by the defense to unearth and reveal the contextual framework behind the charges against me. Now, with the two executive orders, the dogs were let out, so to speak. What followed was a dispatch of the attack pack led by Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, Defense Intelligence 30 years prosecutor. He, Crane, unlawfully unsealed the court's sealed indictment to his handlers, senior U.S. government officials at the U.S. Embassy in Freetown, and was never held to account. The rest of the operational team are Colonel Brenda Hollis, Defense Intelligence, CIA, U.S. Air Force, Senior Trial Counsel, and now prosecutor. James C. Johnson, U.S. Army expert, 20 years on conventional and special operations, Chief of Prosecutions for the SCSL. Alan White, 30 years, Defense Intelligence, recalled from retirement to head up investigations at the Special Court of Sierra Leone. Stephen J. Rapp came on board as chief prosecutor for a short time of experience from Capitol Hill, where he served with the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee sometime before. It came as no surprise to me that as a reward of sorts for Stephen Rapp's diligence in the execution of U.S. foreign policy objectives through these ad hoc tribunals, he was appointed U.S. Ambassador at Large for War Crimes issues. In support of the contextual framework of politics, on February 8, 2006, Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, prosecutor, appeared before a U.S. Congress Subcommittee on Africa, Defense Exhibit D404, and spelled out in clear terms the decision taken in support of regime change in Liberia and what needed to happen to solidify that process. There was little mention, if any, in his testimony about Sierra Leone. And here is what he said. I posit that 5 years from now, when the international community is challenged by other crises, Taylor in Calabar, under the protection of Nigeria, will make his move. We will wake up one morning and watch on CNN as Taylor rides triumphantly down the main street in Monrovia to the executive mansion, daring all of us to come and get him. Unless he is handed over to the special court for Sierra Leone, that scenario is not out of the realm of possibilities. He then asked, how do we assure Liberia's future? And he answers that. Ultimately, he says, what we do about Taylor in the next several weeks will determine the fate of Liberia and the new administration of its president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Crane then sets out several plans, two of which I'll state here. He said, first, hand Charles Taylor over to the special court for Sierra Leone for a fair trial, his kind of trial. This takes him out of the local and regional dynamics that is West Africa. Second, tie any financial and political support to good governance in Liberia. Time does not permit, but the exhibits are present. Not even the Nigerian nation was spared from threats and intimidation, as explained by Femi Kayode, press secretary to President Obasanjo, the Nigerian head of state, who was with him in Washington when President George W. Bush promised, and I quote, to bring Nigeria to its knees if Taylor was not turned over to the special court. And what happened? Obasanjo buckled and capitulated. Now, this demonstrates the significant pressure that was brought to bear on President Obasanjo, irrespective of his personal and leadership obligations to the West African sub-region. And therein lies the dilemma for current African heads of state and government, but how to enter into binding commitments and obligations with the African pairs and remain steadfast, resolute, and unyielding in their fidelity to those agreements in the face of such unrelenting and punishing pressure from powerful women.
One more freedom for us. One more freedom for us. Where they welcome
And yesterday, we heard a government official bragging about the country being a peaceful country. And that sparked an entire debate in some corner that we're having breakfast. Just after we left the radio, and the colleague said to him, "What is the definition of peace?" He said, "If you are a government official, then you go to bed feeling comfortable, feeling satisfied that all is well and the country is peaceful, with the hundreds of thousands or millions of people who go to bed hungry only because the economy is living in harshness, increasing the poverty rate in our country, then you must be an animal in human form." I don't know what the definition of peace is, but I think our country is at a high risk due to poverty in the little or nothing that is being done, or no interest being shown by the government to ensure that Liberian lives are lifted from poverty to prosperity, that the arrest agenda begin to experience the true implementation as enshrined in the document. Until that is being seen or done, trust me, we are way, way, way behind attaining and experiencing the kind of peace we want to see in our country. I chose to start on this note. Let me say a very, very pleasant good morning to all of you across the country. Good morning to our friends, our fans, our followers, our critics, and even those of you who do not like the things we say and the way we say them. It's good to have all of you joining us this morning. This is the last edition of the show for this week, with our voices being heard behind these microphones. So it's a wrap up of the week. We're going to chip in on all of the issues that trended during the course of the week, summarize them into different opinions and commentaries and analysis, and then we bid you farewell. Yes, we bid you farewell for the week. From the 19 million plus cocaine burst to the involvement allegation of the involvement or connection of the office of the vice president to the legislature and particularly criticisms or expressions coming from some members of the Unity Party against the government information machinery, the approach and style in the way they respond to issues from their critics. On yesterday, Dimang Bowie made a post on Facebook warning us or cautioning us or advising us, whatever you may want to call it, to be careful how we refer to those in the legislature as honorable. All of these issues. This morning I was listening to Raptel Perry's presentation before the House of Representatives. What an intriguing piece of presentation it was, and a matter to look into. These plus many issues we can talk about this morning. My name is Austin, and I'm here alongside Abu. Together we are going to drive you straight up to 10 o'clock this morning. But before we do that, we want to take a word from our partner, Cram Stepper Liberia. Just after that, we run into the issues. So stick and stay with us. Don't go away. We'll be right back. This is Freedom Morning Rise. This is Freedom FM. And this is 87.9.
Where my freedom fighter?
Gosh, okay. Just bear with me. Let me do this from here. See how it works for you. Oh. Okay. This. Constable, what happened to you in the morning? The computer does not want to. Okay.
The only independent voice of Liberia. No allegiance to any political party, organization, institution, or individual. Freedom FM 87.9, your best choice.
Okay. But I think we have to. Let me bring in Abu Wawujah to adjust from here. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning. And of course, a pleasant good morning to all of our followers. It's good to be here. And today is Thursday. Is our final day for the week presentation. And like Austin put it, it's going to be a run over the major issues for the week. And, and of course, and the other new ones that came up on yesterday. And interestingly, just before I can go any further, I saw this one about say our men 1030 and Mama Gwan settling their differences. It's a good thing, when nobody's supposed to be breaking up with, yeah. So we want to commend all those that intervene. I told my man no fear or play a very instrumental role, and they sat down under the Palava House. They settled their dispute. So yeah, so I think Mama Gwan and 1030 are going to get back on course. We expect to see a lot of movement from them. But yeah, that's the Liberian reality.
This guy, how you call him? What is his name? No Fear. This No Fear guy. I see him running deep into comedy and then weightlifting. I don't know whether he wants to diversify his style.
I think because of his friendship with 1030. And so I think everybody trying to utilize the social media space with their page and all of that.
To expand their visibility.
Exactly. So I don't know whether he has a monitor page, but having 1030, so it's a win-win. So you stay in 1030 kids, and 1030 is making all these jokes and stuff. And, a happy engagement on his page, and people are getting to know him also and all of that. So while he is also helping 1030 on the other end, he took 1030 to the mosque, they converted to Islam. And then after a while, 1030 went to the Kobo Sham tour. There were pig in the food. And then it has been real fun.
Actually, he did before he said, "My man, he had fun."
Yeah.
I don't want to the other one that he did.
Yeah, then I think another play he say, "Oh, and Muslim boy, forgive me that my last time." Yeah. It's so funny, but it's okay. All these things, these are difficult moments in our country, so you have to de-stress and all of that. So celebrity will get themselves involved, and I don't get it when people will be personal and Sunday body kind of thing. So
yeah, he's my artist. He's my
for me, I like
he's my number one artist. I love the man.
These satirical men that the men I'm uno men. I just use them, to. So 1030 is when the men begin say trending artist of the year. I think the men put out was someone you forget, boy. Anywhere the men go, so if you passing around.
Yeah, so you walking on motorbike,
walking, passing around. So one time I saw the man somewhere around UL there, and walking, Man get a BA. I say, hey, who go get it, man?
Kenny
But yeah,
Adesanya,
man, it's good to be here. All these things are issues to look at. I saw Madam Bowie's outburst, I let to put it, with the lawmakers. I think it came from the manner in which they acted towards Dr. Pele, Rupture Pele. So I think she felt that was dishonorable. But I equally think what she tried to move all of us towards wasn't too okay for me. No matter what, we must understand some things are are national. It's about the country before the individual. So we can't all together desecrate our country because we have few, unfortunate people occupying good places. So what we can do is to use our platform, use our personality, especially as Madame Bowie, to educate and conscientize the people, right, on the value of individual you have to put in certain places to maintain the repetition and of course the integrity of these offices, so that we wouldn't reach a point where you say, "Oh, don't call lawmaker honorable anymore. Call them by their man and power giving names."
I tried to look for her exact comment on her page, but this is what Kim TV is reporting. This is a quotation. It says, "Good afternoon, my people, my family. Sorry, Wednesday word. Stop calling those people honorable. Honorable is a title that comes with a lot of responsibilities. It is earned through years of dedicated service with integrity. What I can't stand is them introducing themselves. I am Honorable XY. Who gave you that name? Who told you that you are honorable? Moving forward, we will appreciate you calling the names of your parents. The names your parents give you, word of honorable." Honorable first is not a name.
It's not a name.
It's a title.
It's a honorific.
Yeah.
Right. So I think she maybe.
But the context is clear. What she tried to.
Yeah.
Say.
But
So,
I think there was a bit of arrogance with that. Yeah, and I think she doesn't set the standard. And she also dropped the ball by, telling people not to call the lawmakers honorable. I can have my disagreement with them and all of that, right? The honorific of it. You see, when somebody occupying in the context of Liberia, when somebody is occupying the presidency, we call them excellency, right? It's an honorific that attached or assigned to that office. So whether the person is a dictator, whether the person, they will always officially be addressed as his or her excellency. And you understand? So same as lawmakers, right? The honorable representative, the honorable senator, right? Irrespective of who's there, whether a district elects a madman and put him there, right? By virtue of that bureaucratic standard, we call them like that. Like in the context of that's why I like the francophone. They're too much honorific and all of that, and they don't go for it. In Cote d'Ivoire, for example, that I noticed when I went there, the president is addressed as Mr. President, Monsieur le Président.
And some even call him Comrade.
Yeah, Monsieur le Président, and I'm sure that's how it is in Guinea and other francophone. So, but in our part of the world, that's how you hear all these things. But it comes with our system. So for one woman to wake up because she's displeased about a certain deportment and think and feel or want to commend all of us to not call them that way, I think is for me unacceptable. Maybe her outburst could be justified, but you can move the country in a direction to insolence and disrespect to highest offices. No, absolutely not. It's like having disagreement with the president and saying nobody should call him excellency anymore. Nobody should call, the Chief Justice, Your Honor anymore. It's like somebody trying to say that. It's about the office, not the individual. So I think she was wrong. I think she dropped the ball.
And that's the point, because Lima is not an ordinary character an ordinary figure in our politics, in our governance system, in our democracy, I should say.
Mm.
And democracy requires obedience to standards, to rules, to our laws, to our custom, our tradition. These are all embedded in, I should say, an embedment of the title honorable. And I think in my mind, Madam Bowie should have been cognizant of that reality. Now, I too have said repeatedly that I don't find pleasure or comfort in referring to some lawmakers honorable. But that does not give me the audacity to say, Abu, all of you,
Yeah.
do not refer to lawmakers as honorable. If Austin does not want to refer to lawmakers as honorable, that's Austin's business. That's his choice. But sitting behind these microphones,
And it's because of a status that we're even
Thank you.
discussing this. Ordinary
Thank you,
people,
we'll
they
not
are
tell
not calling honorable this,
Yeah.
but for her, no. She's expected to
so
do
to
better.
sit behind this microphone and say, all Liberians do not refer to members of the legislature as honorable. For me, that would be unreasonable for me. It would be unreasonable to think that because I do not think that some lawmakers or all lawmakers should not be called, or I should not call lawmakers honorable, it means I should call on the entire country not to call lawmakers honorable, not considering that those lawmakers have constituents that voted them. It means imagine telling people in District 17, do not call DJ Blue honorable.
Yeah.
Even though he himself does not like to be called honorable. Imagine me telling people in District 16, because they listen to us and they follow us, and say, do not refer to Dixon Sibu as honorable, because I am not comfortable with calling him honorable. No, that's arrogance that Abu said. And I think for her status, no, these kinds of comments should not be coming from certain people.
Oh, yeah. Certainly.
Because Liman and they are under obligation to protect standard.
You can be correcting wrong.
Yeah,
and then
you can use
doing
wrong
the wrong thing.
to correct wrong.
Yeah.
So the standards of our society should be guarded and protected by people like Liman who are Nobel laureate. You know what it is to say you are a Nobel Peace. That alone, the statement is unpeaceful.
No, oh, yeah.
The statement alone does not promote peace. Everything that comes from Madam Bowie is supposed to be embedded in or driven towards seeking peace, ensuring that the country, the nation is peaceful. Now, what Madam Bowie has done is that she has opened a Pandora box that if lawmakers decide to go after her, it turns the entire country, unstable.
And that's she has a
Now,
very big platform.
If the lawmakers start to respond to her in similar arrogant manner, then everybody will start crying, oh, the lawmaker, this is the problem.
Yeah, no, but on this, right, I don't know how they respond, but on this, Austin, I will support, right, the house inviting her to retract that comment and apologize.
Sure.
Because you know what she's doing? She's orientating the country to begin to disrespect the lawmakers. She's orientating and communicating to her partners and friends and people who believe in her that show no respect to our lawmakers. And it shouldn't be. We can have disagreement, but constructive disagreement.
Now, kind of thinking about it, these lawmakers have their different international parliamentary bodies that they go to. So the ECOWAS Parliament, the African Union, the Pan-African or Pan-Pacific Parliament, they are listening to Madam Bowie, they're reading her piece, calling on people. So their colleagues are reading a Nobel laureate, challenging that honorable title, questioning their ability, their responsibility, their entitlement to that title, and calling on Liberians not to regard them as honorable. The message or the signal you send out there is that those people, those parliamentarians, you don't respect the people who come from Liberia. But you have worse people in other parliaments than Liberian, Liberian parliament. Yes.
From Nigeria, you
Yes.
don't see a prominent.
You
Peter
go-
Obi, you not say don't call
No.
Tinubu Excellency anyway.
If you go to Nigeria, there are uneducated and illiterate people in the Nigerian parliament. In fact, there are more because of the manner in which their government is structured. So there are more. You go to South Africa, you have illiterate people who have never entered classroom. They're in the South African parliament. People who have never sat in classroom, you find them in the South African parliament. You go to Senegal the same way. Even Kenya, East Africa that has a literate society, high level literate society, they still have people who are not schooled in their parliament. You have people who exercise, who showcase, who display misconduct during sessions. What we can do is to call the lawmaker, the specific lawmaker out like we did there with Colette. We signal him out, we call him out, we criticize him and condemn his behavior. But we can use Colette's behavior or attitude to represent the entire embodiment of the house and go to the extent of saying, don't call them honorable. Call them the names that parents gave them. Do you know why it is supposed to stop referring to you, Madam Bowie? In a dishonorable way? We said they'll call you Madam Lima Bowie, Nobel Peace Laureate.
That was even acting against the country, not just the lawmakers.
No.
But the country say, this is how you address people.
Then
one woman say she is so knowledgeable than everybody in the country. You don't call them. Don't call them. Who told you that you? That my woman, right? You know, with all due respect, but who told you that one woman will sit down somewhere? You decide that how we call somebody, how we don't call somebody.
I was way below the belt, man. You slip. The kind of person we know you to be. If you can have a second thought, I don't think you should even wait.
That's what they say.
To be called by the lawmakers to render an apology. I think you should have a rethought and either try to rephrase or publicly apologize for your statement.
Yeah, I think
you owe them an apology.
She was angry
for the kind of person we know you to be. We understand. I do not favor. We do not have confidence in the on the general. We said it over and over again that we do not have confidence in the legislature. We believe that they compromise. We say these things. But does that mean we should say to you, don't call them honorable? No.
Yeah. Everybody know publicly that I have fundamental disagreement with the current speaker, right?
Yeah, sure.
But recently, one of his officers, I called him. He did something that was right. I said, my man, tell your man, say the other one he did was excellent. They won. Yeah.
And that's what we're doing.
Was perfect.
Our disagreement does not mean we hate you.
Or
we should disrespect you because we disagree with you. Disagreement does not mean disrespect. We disagreeing with you this morning, man, Bowie. Does that mean we should disrespect you? No. So your disagreement with the legislature should not mean you should disrespect them. Because if they start to disrespect you too, if our hands wake up now and say, let me go respond to her now and start respond to her in a radical or condescending manner.
Yeah, then we promote all kinds of
things.
Well,
just a few years ago, defending you against UP folks when you spoke about the poor performance of the UP government and they were all running after you. We're just here defending you, Madam Bowie.
I think Madam Bowie likes that though.
How come you come by and want to denigrate?
You know, people
our lawmakers.
You know, so probably that's the way.
Some of the political things, as a Nobel Peace Laureate, you have to be very careful how you speak to them and be concise and decisive on the issue, on the subject. Then, targeting individual personalities in the house.
So I want to conclude with
you send a good message out for our country. You are an ambassador for Liberia. If our democracy should try, you should be an ambassador. I mean, you should be a part of that success or progress. There are excesses in our democracy that we can talk about. We'll go outside and speak about them. But that does not mean denigrate an entire structure that was established constitutionally.
I agree. So this is what MPC political leader Simon Freeman also said about Madam Bowie's comment. Say Madam Lima Bowie is projecting ignorance of the war honorable. I mean, I agree with him, and yeah, you cool, but this is what he thinks.
So the same thing we're just saying.
Yeah.
Description of all.
Yeah. Ignorance of the war honorable. The term honorable is purely an honorific war or title meant to convey respect, social status, or politeness to members of the parliament, government officials, or other high-ranking persons in society. So society, have it like that.
Yes.
So when you want to alter that, and you're trying to alter,
Societal
the
standard.
framework, yeah.
Same standard we're talking about.
Say in diplomacy, for example, ambassadors and presidents of nations are honorifically titled Your Excellency. People are respectfully referenced as such. Respectfully referenced as such. Whatever our dislike are for members of the legislature, it must not lead us to project ignorance of honorific words to the national day schools and encourage our young ones who are led by us to refrain from according public and private members of society with proper titles, because that's what she tried to do. Telling the young people, how many young people believe in what? I used to be with the Lehman Bowie Foundation, the Peace Jam, Liberal stuff. And it's a very beautiful program. And I respect her for that. But there are a lot of people I know the commitment, and the respect, the admiration we got for her. And, so most times a lot of folks will take counsel and direction from her because she's very charismatic. I can tell you that for free. We must, however, stick to the lapses in public performance and demand performance always.
Yeah.
But again, to tell the young people, say, don't call them honorable. These are young people, this is the Gen Z generation. They're already naturally broad rude. You have to go the extra mile to
keep them
put
in
them in check. Then you go ahead at the starter, you say, don't call them honorable.
And do
When we're
for
supposed to
the
be
communities.
when we're supposed to be training them to understand that you have to do this. This is courtesy. This is respect for the office. This is what make the office what it is. But you saying take that away because you're angry like James Cole, order others to walk out at the time. That attitude is dishonorable. Yes, we
Yes.
know. We can talk about yesterday. We dealt with it sufficiently and we said what we could say. They are our friends. They will call behind the scene. We'll talk about it and then we'll move on. But we will not encourage people to say, begin to disrespect them because we disagree with them. Right? Begin to call them
because we wouldn't be solving problem, Madam Bowie. So
yeah,
let's assume,
we don't do that.
So
Like
let's
Boali
assume-
said, she threw petrol bomb
Yeah.
in the judges'
yeah.
compound.
So let's assume majority of the young people decide to stop calling lawmakers honorable. What problem does that solve? Yeah, what problem does that solve?
And guess
How
what?
does that satisfy your disagreement?
She will be the same person at another occasion. I'll be saying the young people are getting rude, they're getting uncultured,
Yes.
and we need to do this, we do that. You see, yeah.
So, Madam Bowie,
Yeah.
there are two females I really admire in Liberia, and they still remain at the top of my admiration. Whether it's leadership, or politics, or governance, or whatsoever. That's Madam Serif and Madam Bowie. I still hold the two of them in high esteem. Every day, I say this to people on official platforms, on all official platforms. They are my two female admirable characters in Liberia. And I love them. I love their style. I love their engagements. I love their bravery. I love their boldness, their decisiveness, But that does not mean when President Serif sleeps or Madam Bowie sleep, we can call them out. No, Madam Bowie. I would say you have to muster that courage individually. Sit down in your small room there and think. Read the statement again you wrote. Analyze it within yourself. Only your one in your room and see how you can try to fix it. If you can, or if you're not willing to fix it, I think the lawmakers should call you to check. The lawmakers can be suspending people or expelling people from capital building because they disagreed with the government. Yege is expelled today because he disagreed. And the man will say we should not call you honorable. Somebody say, well, I say I can do for your own self-government. Yes, but again, we acknowledge that some of the things you guys can do are dishonorable. But that does not mean we should start telling the public do not respect them. Do not call them honorable. I mean, let's abolish certain provisions within the Constitution. That's what we're saying. So we can break our standards now because of our disagreement, to satisfy our disagreements. So we can transition to something else, Abu.
That's certainly. I think we can look at the different reactions and outbursts from members of the executive to senators. Again, it's quite interesting. I think what is going on is that the legislature is trying to make some adjustments, and at the when she's trying to do that, because she has for like 2-3 years now been acting abnormal with a lot of things, so trying to get back to normality, and something that's generating some discomfort in their friends. And so when they took up to out executive officials for their uncouth attitudes that remain consistent and persistent, all of that. So we're seeing a lot of outbursts. A whole show was held on yesterday with different members of the Unity Party and the executive blasting senators for wanting to call the Ministry of Information out, right, for describing them as not acting outside of their constitutional mandate. So, my own big brother Dario Ambusman, and blasting that, oh yeah, if you think they say they are doing a good job, they think so. I mean, I'm like, you see, this is it. That's why.
So let me start to read Musa Belede 3 hours ago. He said, I'm Honorable Musa Hassan Belede. I earned this title the moment and voted for me in democratic election.
Somebody just sent it to me.
Well, that's Dylan. Well, that's between you and the people of Maserado. Until the second working Monday of January 2030, I will proudly carry this title. I'm not afraid of the honor bestowed upon me by people. Never and I will uphold the honor bestowed upon me by my people. And Dixon civil response is everything. He's being called and honorable must go alongside with acting like an honorable. Musa, I think you pass the test of both on both ends. I don't know what you guys said. So yeah, just to I think the lawmakers are individually reacting to.
Yeah, certainly they would, and just like Representative Dixon Sibo put it, I agree, and that's a whole set of debate on its own, right?
I think we need to arrange something like that next week.
Yeah.
I think the range of conversation or debate. I don't like to call it debate, but conversation.
An educational eye opener around it. So because some of the thing is we get carried away by the politics most times, and then we deprive our people of the needed education and enlightenment on some of these things. It's not about your liking. It's not about your pleasure. You must be able to. That's emotional control. You be able to control your emotion and accept certain things. Is whether you like it or not, like sometimes when Father Day come, I see some women trying to do memes, like, oh, the other one I'm Father Day too. So naturally, there's something that defines fatherhood. So once a man satisfies that, all the other one is the man being responsible, right, to show what fatherhood comes with. Or it does not immune the man from,
But if he defaults on the
responsibility, yes, I understand. We can call him out for that. But
that's why he doesn't deserve to be celebrated.
You can't celebrate him. I agree, right? You can choose not to celebrate him, but like he is a father.
No, it doesn't stop him from being a father. He is.
So they are honorable.
Yes.
In spite of whatever they do, that's who they are.
Yeah.
So, but it's on them, right, to act, carry themselves, right, and perform the tasks and duties as an honorable. I felt very disgusted when I saw that representative from Nimba in District 5 went to China and stood in the street and started. I mean, I don't know what
that was dishonorable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, bro, what is this guy? And the guy just yelling in the street. You see, this is China. Is that your rule? We're talking about our lawmaker from Liberia go stand in China in the street, overwhelmed by the.
I think it was his first time to China. And I'm told it was the first time he played outside Africa.
That was so very funny and dishonorable to me. And you can imagine how the Chinese kid was seeing that man. Like some a regular guy who's the first time. You see the role, you see how they put it, you see the other bidding here, you see the one. And so, okay, I mean, so tell me, man, you forgot that you're an honorable man representing your country here. Right? Go and collect all these things and put them into policy recommendations. Yeah. Right? To effectuate the kind of thing.
Authority people into the picture.
Bring it in.
This is my experience.
This
is
what we saw. How can
replicate this?
But for you to go do quote unquote PR to a larger extent, stay on the street. I mean, you are belittling yourself. You're coming way down. You put a camera on. Man, you put a camera on there, picking them passes. You see the other building here. You see the road.
Chinese people were laughing because they were not even understanding what he was saying. So they were laughing.
So when you sitting somewhere as an accomplished Liberian and you command a whole lot of respect in whatever environment you see yourself, and then somebody, a staff of yours, that pass out, oh, this is a lawmaker from Liberia, and you're like, wow, you kidding me? And this is that. So you gotta understand that all the responsibility, the burden you carry, and that those used to be my problem with Yake Koluba, standing on car, doing all kinds of things. I know you can be agitative and all of that, but always remember that the country image. The country image. You see, all the noise we are causing about this drug thing, blah blah blah. We can talk the politics of it, but it has far-reaching effect on each of us. Our passport will be treated in particular ways.
Yeah.
Right? Something you get no knowledge about, nothing whatever. You could be traveling somewhere and you could be subjected to extra screening, delay, and what have you, because this general perception that's coming out of this cocaine situation. And that's why everybody got to get involved. Call for the right things to be done to put our countries back. And that's what somebody myself talking and say, oh, In the midst of the allegations and accusations that are directed at the office of the vice president, the honorable thing he can do, right, is to restore the image of his office by coming out openly to call
Making
for
full
an
disclosure.
independent investigation.
Yeah.
No, let the man officer just say, "Hey, I want to call and support an independent investigation into this drug thing." Right now, he's left the whole thing hanging, thinking that they could pay a few bloggers and other people be playing. No, but that image thing is affecting the country. We're talking about the vice president here. Whether right or wrong, but that the vice president we're talking about. For the vice president to be connected or allegedly connected to a cocaine situation like this and all of that, I mean, you don't know how the vice president will be viewed out there, how he will be treated out there, and that is not good for our country.
And
So-
this is not a domestic thing we're talking about. This is
No.
a global thing that involves multiple sources of streams of investigations taking place. So what we are refusing to establish and review here, there are also international bodies that are also investigating and establishing what they can establish, and in subsequent time they will take some actions against our country. Because when you can't look, the major we'll keep placing emphasis on the vice president. First error to have denied knowing Tony. I don't know how people are thinking. You see people resigning, prime ministers, British prime ministers, American minister, congressmen are resigning just because they were linked to the Albert Einstein fire. British prime minister is stepping down. In fact, the royal palace was made to step down because of this thing, his connection. So you know what it is? That's the most powerful bureaucrat in the world. It's made to step down from his throne, turn a crown over. Only because they have not established any evidence, strong evidence, just because he's being accused in their pictures, showing him in conversation.
So the societies accept that the individual should go down, but the country should remain. But in Liberia, we say no.
No.
We will start doing everything protecting the individual while the country image is embarrassed.
And everybody admitted. Today, another British prime minister has stepped aside only on policy failure. I promised to do this. I didn't do this. I didn't do it. I made 3 different commitments to improve. They didn't work. At this point, I can't fix this problem. Step aside. He stepped aside and announced a successor. That's tender. That's morality. The vice president, I don't even know the man. And then everybody in the country knows that the vice president knows the man. That's the first motive that needs to be established. Why would the vice president know somebody and publicly say, I don't know the person? He slipped. That was an error. I know our culture does not really encourage people or motivate people to step aside on these moral issues or these moral breaches and lapses when they before us, but there has to be a turning point where people will be able to muster the courage and say, even though he's not stepping down as vice president, but let's look into this. Why is he denying somebody that he knows? He's not saying, Musa Bey said, this man is my son. I love him, but I will turn him over to the law and ensure that the law fixes its course.
Right, that was upholding standard.
Yes. He said, no, I'm a lawmaker and I will manipulate. No, he said, he's my son. He will face the allegations against him, and if he's guilty, he will serve his sentence. Today, Bede's son is serving his sentence without any form of interference from the legislature. Bede go around to the legislature leadership and say, my man, they can't embarrass me like this. But he was the first to say, my son, in as much as I love him. But this is a national issue that all of us have committed ourselves to.
But
peace will go to
the mayor, when A.B. Kuma called the mayor, according to what I gather, the man, right on the form, he told the man, process the man, let the law take its course.
Yes. Then I mean, so come to think about it with the vice president, and you say you don't know the man. The first, I don't know the man, and that's all. When people say it's not enough, the vice president needs to come out and clarify. People get vexed. So what did I got to do with Jeremiah Kun to hate him now? All the other people, I mean, what's about Kun? Everybody just, I mean, everybody, oh yeah, everybody hates the man. But the vice
But I'm
president is in the
business
mess.
to be liking
Yeah.
somebody.
The vice president is in the mess. He places himself in the mess, and he's not even making any attempt to get out. He's increasing the problem. Now I'm told he left the country. He's in the UK. Up to now, the entire country.
But why all of them doing in the
Yes.
UK? Dylan too, I'm told
Yeah.
Dylan in the UK.
And nothing about their trip in the UK.
And Usman Ali is in the UK. There the cooking supposed to go. So why all of you going to UK?
So think about it. Nothing about their trip to the UK. Imagine the second highest person in the country, with along the Senate chair on foreign relations. They all in the UK. They don't can post on Facebook all day about their activities. We have not seen one picture from Jeremiah Kun and Dylan in the UK. We've not seen one line, one sentence written by them out from Dylan or the VP's office to say why they're in the UK. And that's fine for our country, right? That is fine. That's okay. The president is in Turkey. I don't know whether I've seen anything on eMarshal website.
No, the president is undergoing treatment. I can tell you
Yeah.
for free.
Now, when we say when we say the information that we are receiving, then you get vexed. You're still wishing the president evil. Because some of us will know what took the president to Turkey. We know what has happened. We know what is happening now. But when we talk, then you say, you hate the man.
We just decided to leave that whole thing, updating you about President Bouakar's, treatment, because every time you try to put it back on us. So we just leave you. And I was telling somebody called me and we were talking about
it. Probably leave the country.
And I told the
no
president,
statement, nothing.
I said,
and the country just already president out, vice president out, and everybody is just okay with it.
I said, me, I'm going to talk about Bouakar have been anymore, right? We just all just keep going along. The day, and, he dropped. That one that the whole country was on.
The day he dropped it.
So I ain't gonna be saying the people ain't understand that these things are very, very important to keep.
No, it's important.
But when you try to do it, then the society turn it around, they put it on you. You're doing your job. So we just leave it. All just be going like that. You know what I mean? The man leaving the country, we all saw the process. The man entered Turkey. We know they said the man was going for state visit or what kind of visit. We see no reception. Ever since he has been there for some days, I'm told he's supposed to be returning Sunday. We're not seeing anything. So all I can say, I wish him well. He goes through the process very well. And remember when the vice president,
somebody posted yesterday, say so now the other Turkey trip and nothing happening on the silence.
Yeah, no silence, nothing, everything. But I hope everything goes well, and then he comes back to continue for where
so nothing happening on the silence with the other trip in Turkey. We so our sister Kula, we need to read what's happening on the silence.
No silence being the other one
of the trip in Turkey. Probably there's no silence in Turkey, so nothing happening on the silence of the trip in Turkey.
When you tell the people say, "Oh, you're probably going for SYZ," why would
Joseph Bouacar is our president?
And now all the fuel happening, you don't understand. All that thing you see happening. The other person say they want, old person say, oh, Nambo is formed. They want
that's the reason.
That the thing
lack of confidence. They are not sure that the president may be able to make it, contest or stand for re-election in 2029. That the real truth there.
And one element
so they already have a plan B. If Mr. Bouacar doesn't make it, we prefer Gafan on the ticket. Then Jeremiah Kun, because Gafan our original man, our own man from the party. School and father say, but then they may not prefer also. Therefore, on Nambo as a fallback. That is happening with the people then. Lack of confidence in Mr. Bouakar's ability to stand for re-election. They themselves do not feel convinced that the president might be strong enough to stand for re-election.
There are two views, right? They believe that either the Pape will give up along the way, or he will struggle to reach. And there is a calculation to torpedo
Yeah.
VP Kun from the ticket 2029. So whoever's going to come on that. So now when and if the president decides to throw in the towel, right? People
Who does
they
he throw
don't
it
they
to?
don't want
Or
Kun.
if he
So
chooses it, who catches it?
exactly. So there's a debate, and there's a debate, and so but let me just hold it because we're still working on other things to be clear. My man, that thing what the Nigerian man said, that ain't not start so. You come and see we are fair, bro. You come and see we are fair. It's inevitable at this point. Whether you like it or not, it will happen.
Because the line is already June.
The line is June, and
yeah, all the men know that
yeah,
start already.
when people start to see, when things is happening, like us in our here, right? And something start to happen. We all don't have any kind of clue to believe that it has to be from either of us, right? But the point at which, I get and start to see something to want to convince me that Austin knows something about this. It developed that kind of resistance.
Yeah.
So that is almost where we are right now. So both party, number one, number two, and things have been happening. Yes, like the reaction of the radicals and stuff. But it's almost getting to the point where somebody among the two starting to believe that what is happening is to the knowledge of this other person, is to the knowledge of that other person. And that's the dangerous part of it all.
As a place on for us, but we are already in the system. So just as it sparks, we receive signals. So we know exactly what's happening. We inform you on what you need to know, and we hold what you don't need to know, at a particular point in time. But I think the country right now, the country is running it on its own. There was no statement issue. Normally, the president will say the vice president will be in charge. I mean, the minister of justice will be in charge in consultation with the vice president. This time around, there's no official statement to say who's in charge of the country. The president is out, vice president is out. No official statement to say who's in charge of the country. So maybe the Abu in charge of the country. So that maybe we are or the minister of state in charge of the country.
Because I thought they did something like that, right?
Okay, but I didn't
the
see
president
on
was
website.
I think he said he left the
Minister of State.
The minister of state in charge. But that minister of state is a lukewarm guy. He's not really same. It's a big.
He's a quiet achiever.
Yeah,
he's a quiet achiever. He knows how to shoot his shot, where to shoot his shot. And
but he's not ready in
his
charge
target. He's not he's not in charge of the Nathan McGee,
or even the late
McLean.
Oh no, there's other old men. And in the context of the UP now, or this regime, they prepared a pass.
Grisby?
Grisby, they men are took NASCO poor money.
I mean, they're ready, man. No, but I think Sam is. He might not be an assertive type or that's aggressive, but he's. I think he knows what he.
Not aggressive,
yeah, but assertive.
He's not asserting. Yeah. I think something the authority, because that place there, the circle of the president now is so polarized and authorities are divided in a way.
I would trust me. I think Sam knows what he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows, and that's him. You can take that style away from me. But he knows what he's doing. He knows what his aiming are. He knows how to target what he wants to target and achieve. And he knows how to neutralize potential threats, whether against his interests and all of that. So I think he knows what he's doing. That's a quiet achiever there. Yeah. So that's what we are. So I hear that. I'll see. Is that the piece from Eugene Fagon?
Yeah, Fagon say. Fagon firing my man. The man. Man, facts was a fiction. Okay, I mean, finish destroying LBS now. So yesterday, and he say tired. See, democracy under attack in Liberia. Senators acting like gods. Fagon. So Front Page Africa just did an article. I think 2 minutes ago they just posted that. So I think Fagon is going as far as challenging the Senate authority.
But you've seen a wave of Why you open that stuff and so we can get a glimpse of it? You seeing are you noticing the wave of disagreement, increasing disagreements, and public criticism between the two branches, the legislature and
the entire government is at
executive?
loggerhead.
Yeah,
They're at each other. At
they
some
can no
level,
longer hide anything now. They can no longer suppress their emotions.
At some
or their
level, you
sentiments
see
about
executive
issues.
officials will be fighting each other,
Yeah.
and then the executive and the legislature going back and forth, right? And then lawmaker going back and forth. Somebody say, "Oh, Mosara should recuse himself." Moga say, "I'm recusing myself," and and all this thing.
Like Mazako and
Yeah.
Tomo Fala issue,
And then-
to Judy Weah is also engaging to find out where and things on that other stuff.
exactly.
So
Then
they're
Darius
all in
Dillon-
their side. They don't all I saw I think Billy was responding to Dillon. Comment and stuff, and then Dillon also engaged Daba Vabla again versus the Ministry of Information.
with the vice president,
yeah.
while the
Yeah.
vice president should be doing business with Tomo Fala,
Fala.
and Fala is trying to enter into Bon County.
So-
All kinds of things going on.
That calamity.
Calamity. Said they will fight. They will fight each other.
And that's
for
what
power.
that's what the
That's what I
pastor predicted. Now you see the fight is visible. I don't know whether Pierre can still come back to insult the rev.
So the entire government is confused. The president is confused. The vice president is confused. They will fight. You will see among them. They will fight among themselves. So here's it. The Director General of LBS, a staunch supporter of the rescue government, right, challenges the authority of the Liberian Senate, presided over by Yombli Kanga Lawrence, the rescue mother. And he's planning a pro-government march to Capitol Hill.
The EBU.
LBS director.
The meme
So
who's
they said nobody will protest.
the man who's to be communicating,
for the government. The man say, in fact,
broadcasting.
he coming plan a pro-government protest on Capitol Hill. So that means all the government, the executive branch, men, all of them were there.
Let me be talking for that pastor prophecy.
So Fagon is launching the government of Liberia protest against the Senate. He say they will launch a pro-government march on the Capitol building. Does that look to you like a serious government, a responsible government? Isn't there a confused? I mean, confused, entirely confused government, disintegrated, falling apart. While the Liberian people are dying in hunger, hospitals, no electricity, no bed. Look at the report from JFK on the dialysis machine. Right, the breakdown and the
machine that were brought in the country by the government, I didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything. Today, nothing's been done to repair or bring in additional. It has become overwhelmed. Patients are going through terrible things. People living with kidney issues in the country. The government is focused on that. But the LBS Director General is organizing a protest against the legislature because he thinks he's man enough to challenge the authority of the Senate. They want you that ordinary, young people or Yana boys, they're not coming and protesting anymore. The government, how the senior member of the same government will be saying, "Oh, we're coming protest against the other foreign government." I've never heard this before. This is so ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, again, we want this, but again, this is what we have. When you have a president that's lame dog, that's not in charge, and it becomes like this, they're confused. They're going down. And the vice president told us that the president brain is going down, wearing pampers. Say he comparing the man to his father. He said, "My pa wearing pampers on the man." Why? How did we get here? So I know that bonus. Because I'm not sure anybody achieving anything in their life for the 6 years period. We're just going back and forth and pounding. We're in circles. We're going around, but nothing's going on. And we're watching these boys. They're selling cocaine in the country. They're violating our laws. They're fighting among themselves. They're building mansions. Look at the LDA ORC. I'm told he's the HR of the Liberia National Police at the same time, and seconded to go and serve and act as the ORC. See, this brother is building mansions. We've been promised they will send us photos and videos. It's building mansion in no time. The officer in charge.
Everything about the country is confused. So confusion from now till 2029 in Liberia. The man is tired. Tired. Why can't he reason?
So with everything going on in Nigeria, you hear what this Nigerian pastor has to say.
Liberia, your president is confused. So the economy of the country is confused. Everything about the country is confused. So confusion from now till 2029 in Liberia. The man is tired. Tired. Why can't he reason?
So with
Okay. So just
Yeah, man. So the man say things are not happening in Nigeria. But the man is speaking to, I mean, you don't dictate what God sent to the man, right? You don't dictate what dream God sends to the man.
the other man say what all the things that are happening in Nigeria.
Yeah. You know how many times the Pope been talking about the things happening in Nigeria? This man has.
Nobody know the meaning of deal with it in Nigeria, but no more thing for the man.
The man, that thing will not even get done. Anybody skit. This small begin to be doing comedy skit. All of them can deal with Tinubu. All of them.
No more thing for the man.
But I hear we're so intolerant. We see this thing like someone beating. Oh, I did that. No, you know what I mean? For over 5 million human beings, their life, their well-being, their future, their children, everything should depend on your decision you make in the country. And then you're taking terrible decisions. Life is going backward. No hope. Hope has disappeared. People are living in total destitution, paralysis.
You're having with your boss.
Yeah. And then somebody said, nobody should talk about that. You become so ignorant of that and you don't even want to pay attention to it. And you say, oh, it's okay. Look at our court system. Look at the release of Marco. Look at what we're hearing. Right? The people that are supposed to uphold the rule of law. The people that are supposed to ensure that when we grab people who commit crime in our society, where they're supposed to be kept, millions, we've sat behind this microphone times to our number, advocating for support to the correctional centers or facilities, not knowing that criminals can just walk in and walk out overnight. Sometimes we feel like most of the high-profile cases, the people are in South Beach, but they let them out. They let them out. The system has become so vulnerable and compromised simply because, like the prelate said, the president is weak. And sometimes when you say it, people be like that. But we're talking about the country. We can't come about the country for the president. If the British people can let their prime minister in 10 years, do you know how many prime minister has resigned? Some, for just saying that this is the direction I want to go. Was it Theresa May? The one before Theresa May doing that referendum for Brexit, right? The prime minister opted for against Brexit, and then when the vote was taken, Brexit happened. So obviously he has to leave because he thinks the country should go this way, and the people say, so you can't. What kind of legitimacy you get? No, absolute no legitimacy, right? COVID-19, Boris Johnson, right?
Johnson.
Boris Johnson had to leave for party. Some officials were involved in party during COVID-19 period and what have you. That was dishonorable. That was contrary to the standard and the procedure at the time, risking the life of British citizens. A whole prime minister had to leave. But in Liberia, when it's becoming evident, when it's becoming clearer, people still say, no, we got to be demagoguery. We got to worship the man. The man as some kind of small Wasonga God, and he has to be worshipped. You see, we respect Mr. Bwaka very well. He's our old man. He's our grandpa. For those of you that don't understand what we do, you think, oh, it's any form of disrespect. But you know what? We respect and value the country more. Because whatever Mr. Bwaka achieved, he achieved them for he himself, his family. But whatever happens for Liberia happens for all of us. whatever is good for Liberia guarantees a future for our children, guarantees a better life for each of us, irrespective. So we must be more vested in preserving the country than idolizing an individual, even in the clear demonstration of ineptitude, inefficiency, and all of that. So whenever you see a conduct from a leader that's unbecoming of the reputation of the state, we must act against it and say, no, our opposition was, this old man was old enough to be catering to his grandchildren, then putting him to take on the responsibility of a compound complex country like Liberia. Our challenges in this country are HO compound complex, the Herculean, and you can imagine the weight it comes with. Then our grandpa are supposed to be dealing with things. So people pull the man there, they just riding the man, they dealing cooking here, they're doing all kinds of things. They bring fake D. Look at Mama Kabirete and brought that yellow machine thing. Scam. Look at where's the yellow machine now?
No, the country is quiet.
Quiet about yellow machine. They told us that June 29.
All the yellow machines were in country.
Yeah. They said June 29 they were going to begin dispatching yellow machine. I don't know, Rewa says or Rewa G was
Maybe they waiting for July 26.
So where is the yellow machine? Right? You push your country to things that you can deliver. Look at our Ministry of Transport that used to generate millions, right? With brothers employed. You come, you bring 419 company, LTM, you put it in their charge. Look at where we are. Revenue has gone down. Improper accountability, complaints in enforcement, all kinds of things. Extortion on the streets every day. Is this the Liberia honor a president that's supposed to be energetic and in charge and supervising? I believe Mr. Bouaka 10, 15 years ago would have done a better job than Mr. Bouaka now. Some of you don't like to hear that because you feel like he's your demagogue, but I don't see him like that, right? But I believe technically 10, 15 years or 20 years ago, young Bouaka with the experience in bureaucracy and governance, nobody would want to ride on him. But now they feel like, oh yes, most time you go, the old man is sleeping. Most time you enter, the old man is sleeping. In fact, you have to remind the man, oh, Papa, yeah, ain't no that thing. So now 3 times. Papa, yeah, that other thing. Oh, yeah, what the people bring it, sign it. No energy to peruse. The people who are summarizing these things have got vested interests. So they are corrupting the narrative and presenting it to the old man. That's why he signed things and then they come out. There's a backlash.
And people have to understand that this is the foundation that form our disagreement with the president. This is just the foundation that form our disagreement with the president. I've always said if Mr. Bouaka was sitting in rehab, like President Sirleaf, not involved into mainstream politics, we will have nothing to do with him because he's not in our way. He's not involved with decision making. He's not involved with managing our country. He's not involved with communicating our interest in our interest domestically and internationally. Now, at that point, we have no issue with Mr. Bouaka.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point where Mr. Bouaka is the president of our country, he's in charge of managing this country, meaning he has to manage the rich, the poor, he has to manage the short, the tall, he has to manage the rural and the urban areas. He has to make decisions in our interest. He has to communicate our challenges to our international partners. A man that sits at the top and bear these responsibilities to do these things and act on our behalf in our country and outside of our country needs and must be subjected to public scrutiny. This is where Mr. President comes in the picture. Nobody wants us to leave Mr. President and goes to Gregory Cuomo, for example. He's the head. He's the father of the home. So if Greg Cuomo slipped or misbehaved and the father does nothing, we chastise the father. If Mo Ali slips and the father does nothing, we chastise the father. But if Mo slips and the father chastises him, then we join the father to chastise Mo. If Jeremy Pia slips and the father of the home chastises or Jeremiah, or Jeremy Pia, then we join the father to chastise Jeremy Pia. Or we may not have to join him, but we can celebrate him or congratulate him or thank him for chastising Pia. If the father does not do anything to chastise Pia, then we go for the father. It means the father is granting consent to the attitude of Pia. So those of you who always ask, oh, Austin, what happened? What the issue? Oh, the president. Oh, the president. No. We go to the president when the president does not take action. We go to the minister or the managing director when the president takes action. At times, we even report his officials to him through our criticisms. So when we come here to criticize a managing director or a minister, we are indirectly telling the president, Mr. President, something is wrong about your minister or your ministers or your managing director. Why do you think the Senate is now joining us to criticize the Ministry of Information if we were wrong on our criticisms about the Ministry of Information? Why do you think the party chairman of the UP will sit on ERBC and announce or call on the president that we assume he has access to? We use ERBC to call on the president to reshuffle his government. Mind you, I do not have access to BRCA. So we can easily sit here and call on Mr. President to reshuffle his government. The party chairman has access to Mr. BRCA, or is supposed to have access to Mr. BRCA. If he does not have, that's the issue. But for him to go to state radio and say, Mr. President, you must reshuffle your government, I think there are some underperforming officials that need to go. I think there are some officials performing that need to be shifted. How does that contradict or run contrary to what we have been saying here? So everything we have said is being validated by the very UP folks. Today, you see Eugene Fagon is staging a protest or organizing a protest, leading a protest against the Senate. For what? For ineffectiveness in his work. For anti-democratic practices in his words. So come to tell us, where have we gone wrong? What have we said that today is now revealing itself? Well, the very UP folks now are joining us and elevating exactly what we've been saying since 2024 when they came to power. So if there should be anybody that should be celebrated here, it should be us. Because we have mustered the bravery and the courage to ensure that these folks are kept in check. We have friends in government. Do we? Yes. Do we have friends in UP? Yes. Should our friendship be preferred over national interest? Obviously not. That's why we try our best to keep our disagreements within the confines of the issues. The president does not have the capacity. We formed this opinion since 2023 during the campaign.
Yeah. Ever since
2023, we told you,
sometimes you pretend like you don't know why, and you say, "Oh,
there
why?"
is nothing
Nobody
about
argue with the
Mr.
president. Nobody
Braga's
dislike the president.
performance here that we didn't say 2023. We were clear. In as much, Jeremiah Kun said something. He said prior to campaign, prior to his election, he said he supported the president in 2017 because he felt at that time the president won. President Braga then said he needed one term to fix things. And two, After one term, he will be out.
To be out.
That was the basis for which I supported President Bouaga in 2017. So there were people who supported Mr. Bouaga because he was much younger then. I think around 65, 6 around there. So he was much younger then. Jeremiah could tell you 2023, no. I disagreed. He said, no, he disagreed. Comparing Mr. Bouaga to his father's capacity. That his father was wearing pamper, meaning, hey man, when you're wearing pamper, I mean, you're a young baby, you are being taken care of, you're being mimic. I mean, sorry, you're being micromanage, remote control. Your baby, people are babysitting you. I mean, you got no strength anymore. You don't got physical strength anymore. And in some cases, old age comes with medical complications that will impair your abilities to effectively understand, firstly, what is happening around you before you even take charge of them, and ensure that you fix them. And 2023 will tell you, hey, in all fairness, we do not hate Mr. President. We do not hate the president. We're being real with you. We need a president that when tomorrow we sit down, we can chastise George Weah and say, Mr. President, you got no issue. You have no reason to be ineffective. You are strong. You are healthy. You are moving around. You are supposed to be aware of what's happening around you. So tomorrow, Mr. Weah will have no justification if he fails. So we prefer somebody who will not have any justification or any reason to say it is because of this. Tomorrow, we don't want after 6 years, then you be forced come and say, oh, you know, the old man or oh, and no. So we were the first to tell you. The president went to Sky 50-50 and said he was living on pacemaker. Then we told you, go and do your own research on pacemaker, how it functions in the body, the essence of pacemaker, how it drives the body, how it drives the body through. Other people went and did the research. It's like a life support. What people call life support. You need something to support you to live. How it works effectively. People thought we hated the president. But we said then, and we will continue to remind you that, hey, we told you that this man is not a bad person. We don't hate him. But for this one to be president, no. It's a risk. It's going to be a disaster. His presidency will be a disaster because there will be people in charge who will be making decisions for the president. We don't want the president that will sit down and people make decisions for him. We want the president that will firstly understand what's happening around him. Somebody told me the president, Mr. Bouaga, has not used a computer for I don't know how long. Since he was vice president. Never sat behind a computer. He does not operate a computer. The president before Mr. Bouaga was sitting and read documents and things, jot down his own points. The president no longer have the capacity to sit down. You know how many documents we're talking about? How many policies? How many laws? The president has people to review them. Justice minister, legal advisor, economic advisor, youth advisor, all these different policies. You have people there to review the policies. But even with that one sheet briefing or summary to the president, imagine a 13 or 20 sheets. Just one page, 13 sheets. Different policies, different laws that the legislature is reviewing, that the Ministry of Gender or Ministry of Youth, may be developing. The president has to be aware of all of these policies and laws to make a decision before signing. So President Sadi will say, contains the whole law, contains it into one page. From my text. And she will have a time to read all of them, the one page, skim through them. Just to have an idea of what it is. Because tomorrow, when you leave from here and go to international conferences, you might run into a journalist that will ask you questions about your gender policy, your youth policy, your information machinery, how they engage. Something the information minister may have said that will cause outrage. How do you address these issues? If the president is not aware of these things, how does he speak to these issues? We saw it in the US. We saw that in the US. The president could not even articulate anything about his agriculture programs. A journalist asked him about it. He couldn't say anything. Because one, either there was nothing, or he had not seen, he had not read his agriculture programs. We saw it with the mass, with our mineral deposit. Womope just told us that our mineral worth over billions. The president went to the US and told the US president that we do not know the value of our mineral deposits. Who was the Minister of Mines and Energy when the president made that statement in the US? Womope was the Minister of Mines when that statement was made in the US, when the president told the US president that we don't know the value of our mineral and we need the US to come here and help us to value our mineral. How come Womope is not revealing that our mineral worth trillion? How come? And what we said then, exactly what we said. Two things. We said then, either the president did not consult the sector head and he went and made a statement, or he was not informed. First, the Minister of Mines was not along on the trip. So how are you going to talk about mineral and your mineral minister is out of the picture? It says exactly what we told you 2023. When you put a president in charge of a country that is not in charge of himself, it's a risk. It's a disaster. It's a terrible decision. It's a bad choice. A terribly bad democratic choice to put a president in charge of your country that is not in charge of himself. It's a bad democratic choice for any country that will lead you into disaster. And we're seeing some of the disasters today. All his officials want to succeed him. All his key officials in his party want to succeed him. They are all from since President Boubacar finished doing his inauguration. Over 7 officials in his government developed interest to contest in 2029 to replace him. They all breathed interest from the day he finished doing his inauguration. What do you think these people will be pursuing while in office? Obviously, the Minister of Finance will be pursuing his presidential ambition as Minister of Finance. Obviously, the Vice President will be pursuing his ambition as Vice President, as while in office as Vice President. His focus will be 2029. Obviously, Thomas Fala, his kinsman, who is supposed to be supporting him and trying to solidify his base in Lofa, is also having an ambition. So he will be using his position as Deputy Speaker to be solidifying his base. Yomlikanga Lawrence, who is supposed to be the rescue mother, is no longer playing the rescue motherly role. She's playing a rescue motherly role to pursue her personal ambition to understand as running mate to somebody, to one strong candidate in 2029. They have created a fight between she and Jeremiah Kun also in the Senate, that they are no longer getting along. Because everybody has political ambition. All the key figures in his government, they all having political ambition. How do you already you have a personally the president has complications to deal with, and then people around him who are supposed to be helping to fix him, to package him, and project him as that leader that should be acceptable domestically and internationally, and they are all fighting or pursuing their own interests, not considering that they are intentionally or unintentionally weakening the president's image, the president's fame, the president's ability, the president's capacity, and the president's power to lead. That's what their ambition or their ambitions are doing to Joe Boubacar. And guess what? And Mr. Bwaka is just there. He does not even know these things. So he's just there. Who feels it the most? Who are the biggest victims in all of this? You man came in Bonk. You man water in Bomi. You man Jebe in Cape Mount. You man Sisi in Do community. You man Daba. You Kolu or Klubo in Lofa. And we can go on and on and on and on to name in the different countries. The Mongo Jays in Grand Bassa, they become the victims of an ineffective president and an ineffective system. They become the victims. We could wake up tonight and say, you know what I mean? We are done with freedom money rights. We are going to take our jobs in government that they are offering us. We could say tomorrow, we are leaving freedom money rights. We're going to take our job in the private sector that we're capable of doing and focus on our family. Who feels it the most? You. And that is why today I'm announcing publicly that if you do not join the effort with soup and stand to come out on July 17 and ensure that a strong and resounding message is collectively sent out to not only the president but to our international partners that enough is enough. It's time that either you lead or you leave. It's time that you either lead or you leave. 2 years, 6 months running, gone already. And the country is like static, stagnated, stuck in one place. And we see the problems and the challenges and the people revolving in one circle, just revolving and increasing the errors and the mistakes. And we're going backward. The other day, one of their own rescue Rambo posted. And I agree with him 100%. Liberia, nothing has been solved. We have not been able to solve one problem in this country. One problem we've not been able to solve. 18, 20 years plus running, and we can solve one problem. And after 18 years running, we could not solve one problem. And people who were energetic to solve those problems, those complex problems, could not even solve one. And we take an old man who lacks basic capacities to lead, to understand, to manage, to solve, to fix problems, and we make him president and think he's going to be the one to rescue and to arrest and rescue our complex problems. What were we thinking about? No hate, no personal vendetta, just the reality. Mr. Bwaka could have made a big difference 12 years ago. He could have even done better if he would have been elected in 2017 compared to now. 2023 was a mistake. 6 years, wasted years. Trust me, wasted years. Look at all the projects the president is dedicating. Everything initiated by the previous government. Everything. All the projects the president is dedicating, everything was initiated by the previous government. Either the previous government secured funding. Yeah. Either the previous government secured funding for it, or the previous government signed contract already along with securing funding, or the previous government started the project. Everything the current government is completing or dedicating, they were all started by previous government. They have not started or initiated one project on its own. 2 years running, 3 years running. And you want everybody to sit down and say, yeah, all is well. All hail President Bwaka. All hail Jeremiah Kun. Our country is in a disastrous mood. Just sit down on a tampon.
I agree.
It's a problem for us.
It cannot be said, anymore. And And the conversation this morning is in a way to really put you in the position to soberly reflect and think about your country and think about what is happening and try to suspend whatever, mediocre sentiments that you be carrying or tribal bigotry that's informing your choices and defense for whatever is happening in our country. We have an emergency on our hand as a people. And the saddest part of it all is that the country is going through all of this, but leadership is not acknowledging the challenges. And in fact, for the most part, they try to be rude towards dissent and they try to be stifling. They want to attack, these things. And they're not prepared and putting themselves in the position to confront them and solve it.
No.
That is the most dangerous part of it. So that means there is no hope of anything changing or anything getting better. So when that becomes the case, then the responsibility now comes back to the citizens to take charge. So leadership is not listening to the warning signs. Leadership is not listening to the concerns that are transmitted through different sides of different kinds of agitations or protestation and all of those. Right now, it behooves every well-meaning Liberians, right, to constructively, peacefully rise up, stand up, and send a signal, a very loud one that vibrates the system and make those in power to understand that no, it was simply because of trust in your capacity that we surrender our countries to you. It was not because of entitlement. It was not because you own this country to any extent more than the people that were here. But we realize that you are defaulting on the social contract. And you are refusing to acknowledge your default. And you're being disrespectful to the nation and to the people at the same time. This is unacceptable. And this is where I want to join and agree that, look, we will continue to do our part. We've been doing this. We've been playing whatever role we can, sometimes very radically. We've been talking to you about what you need to do to correcting this nightmare. We had the opportunity. We educated you sufficiently about what we felt, what we saw as drawbacks, limitations, and vulnerability of Mr. Bouakai. You didn't listen. You rather branded us as opposition or anti-Bouakai, which of course we wearing. Today, you see it. Today, you are living the realities of these warnings, these cautions that we were giving you. And I even went the length consistently to say, if we are so convinced that we do not want Mr. Weah second term, we must consider other candidates. Because we saw it clearly that these Cabral were preparing Mr. Bouakai to be a symbolic president who would just be sitting there and then they will ruin this country. They will damage this country like what they are doing. Tell me which one of the deal or contract or arrangement that they have come our way in this country that do not have some kind of bribery or corruption situation around. Before they came, necessarily roll out the national identification registry team, were taking our national ID card easily here. Without anything. Mr. Weah King, he maintained it. We all were taking our national ID cards. But when the United Party came, they won't use that as a window again to extort and steal from the Liberian people. They bring all kinds of unnecessary bureaucracy in, and today we can't get national ID card. Somebody is charging, somebody is calling whooping, government say you ain't get the money for it. Then they have fun third party, they bring it in. Everything that define who we are is being turned over to foreigners. It's being put in the domains of foreigners to deal with. what becomes of the country? All because of vested interests. All because of vested interests. Right? At the expense of the country. At the expense of the integrity, the sovereignty, right? And security of the people. Driver license plates and other things. Again, by the same police inspector general today, our police looking like errand boys in LTN compound, acting like expediter, passing around, taking things, taking $20, come for the other one, blah, 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 go there. We have to criticize before they even try to put in how you reduce our national police as servicemen to Lebanese merchants. And you say that is supposed to be a responsible government. That is supposed to be a responsible handling of the country. You take our police and put them as errand boys to Lebanese. And you say you signed fan contract for the country. They ain't working for the state anymore. They're working for Lebanese company. What kind of outsourcing is that? Look at the Ministry of Transport. And we talk about this and you think that party thing, you see incompetent brat like Queen Johnson chest beating about this person should work in the government, the other person should not work in the government. We've lost the essence of a strong nation. And you can empty human being that refused to get educated. All she did was to wear party t-shirt and be rude and disrespectful, right? Fermenting unnecessary terroristic attack all in the name of politics. And then she thinks she can detect how people enter public service. Queen Johnson and her likes. You think if the job that you occupying at the port or wherever, you think if that was on the basis of merit, you'll be there? Do you stand the ground to be questioning qualified and competent Liberians who commit themselves to the discipline of education, leave this country, and then their competence is recognized, and you can bring party partisan extremism to say this person can work in the place, that person can work in the place? The people you're saying shouldn't work to MCC. Your Monserrato superintendent worked there under the leadership of Mayor Jefferson Koji. He remained a unity partisan. He worked there for years. They live Valai Dole, worked there. And other unity partisans, they work there. So who are you? And the thing about it, you're so illiterate and uneducated. It's so funny, right? That deranged human beings like these can be the one to detect who work where, who gets what in the country. And you want our country to stay there. That is the reason why the July 17 becomes a national prerogative for everybody. A taxi driver, market woman, shoemaker, casual laborers, factory workers, just wherever you are affected. This is way more serious. What are the young people calling for? The vice president should take accountability of what is going on. The vice president, and you come right to say, oh, you take picture, your space. You're regular, you think you're a regular man? You're not a regular man. Whatever happens with you, reflect on our country. We're supposed to sit down and pacify and mesmerize the shame, disgrace, and embarrassment that comes with connecting the vice president to an illegal cocaine scandal in the country, illegal peddling of cocaine and contrabands in the country, right? How do we fight drugs if the president has lacking authority over the LDA? I continue to insist on this point. You allow a critical national infrastructure dealing with drugs in the country, right? You allow yourself to appoint errand boys to go take charge. For almost a year, if not more, And these people have been there, say, acting ORC, officer in charge. They are there. And all the worst things have happened there. Not only drugs issue, stealing money to the airport, arresting drugs, hiding some, and declaring and under declaring some, all the ones. Have we not reported it enough? What has these officers in charge, Biago, Tape, and what you call the other guy, Komazo, what have they not done so terribly wrong and undermining of the office of the LDEA to still remain there? Who's keeping them there? They did not raise an eyebrow to you when the president declared that the joint security will take charge of the $19.2 million drug cocaine investigation, and only for us to realize that Gregor Cuomo had to come and take charge. Who made a decision after the president said that Biago will coordinate, that LDA will coordinate, even though he put it in the joint security, but the LDA. So who made a decision for the police to come and take charge? How did that happen? Under what arrangement? Contrary to what the president said. What is that signal to you? You have an old man that's not in charge. Should we be comfortable with our country being run by a third party? Autopilot, just running itself. Right? And these boys are just passing around. The driver, the chauffeur of the head of the LDA. Connected. And do you know the relationship between the guy who has that club in Dupero, GSA Road there? Private bar. We all been hearing about private bar. I've been hearing a lot of things. Oh, private bar, everybody. They open a lot of casinos around here. Yes, in casinos. Putting the casinos all over. They're not job. What you can be fair? They're going there. Selling cocaine in the country. Selling cocaine. All kind of funny people then just come. We talk it, he said this, that. July 17 is a national imperative. Nobody coming to topple the president. Nobody coming to bring the government down. But people are coming out to tell Mr. Baga that you have to take charge. If you're not, then you resign. Simple as that. Then you resign. You can't keep the country hostage to pamper your ineptitude or incompetence. Nah, you can't do that. That doesn't work in a responsible society. So what's the worth of our education and exposure if at the end of the day we have to come sit down right here and settle for a man who absolutely lack it all, and our country is going down the drain, and we're all supposed to be here considering ourselves to be enlightened people. We must take the bull by the horn and demand accountability from the president and ask him to do the right thing. Stampede the country for days. That's what strong democracies would do. And this is not going to be unique to Liberia. July 17th is a massive opportunity. And trust me, we're going to get the support of our partners themselves, because they cannot do for us what we ought to do for ourselves. So we commend the young people, the students, POSA, SOUP, and others. We commend their courage. We commend their tenacity to recognize the decadence, the breakdown that's going on in the country, to say, you know what? We have to stand up. Join solidarity forces to correct this menace. And that's all you have to do. You have to be recording here, so you have to take up the opportunity, stand up for your country. You all weak people sitting there and being okay with handout. You think your life is supposed to be limited to handout. You sit down, people selling cocaine here. Does it look fair to you? And the vice president daughter. That's all on TikTok. Oh, some of you have not seen her. Go on TikTok and see the lady bragging about every nonsense. Hopefully, looking labor say, yeah, kept passing up and down, acting like, oh, he's the only young man that's supposed to be successful. We support young people's success, but you must define your success. It must be within the realm of legal earnings. I think we're all clownish to sit on here and look at people dealing drugs and transporting and affecting our country, destroying the future of our people, and sit there. Then when people say, oh, a generational envy, explain your wealth. That's what we need from you. What's your relationship? What's your connection? Errand boys. These are the ones that can be moving the parcels around here. They must all account. Mr. President, you have the report. Mr. President, take action. Who's stopping the president taking action? Why did you delay for a month for all these hardcore people to leave the country before you come out? So where is Gregory now talking now? They won't hear. They call it nail hook the tracé. They can't leave. Jump through the window. The nail hook it. But we see what happens. We've covered a lot. You know, picking up on the major happenings in the country for the week. As we call it day. So it's your turn. Talk to us about what interests you most. 0776 104 104 06 500 104 plus 231 86 500 104 are the numbers to call. And if you live, my name is Abu Sharif, and of course, Austin Kawa is here. This is the Freedom Morning Rise on Freedom 87.9, the People's Radio, where we discuss the issues without fear nor favor. And we speak truth to power. Let's hear you. What do you think? Good morning.
Good morning to my brother Abu Sharif and that of Austin Kawala Institute this morning. And good morning to my fellow Nigerians already left this morning. The near me
good morning. Thank you for sponsoring our Nina. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much. You need to pass the leg of a man, headed by Deacon Pastor Joseph Yuma Pakai. They are debating with our country leadership. What you ask me, yesterday when we were in opposition, the president in Mexico and all the presidents in the America, the people they have all beyond demonstrating those presidents that people were not expecting. Just supposed to be like the reason that people women voted this government is because
the job that happened is the LDA boss, the national police. The police are other. So you know what happened to the country security? You can imagine the other things that have not even come out yet. Go ahead. And you say that they say, oh, can't also for the country, and you say, oh, a unity party, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very kindly. Good morning.
Yeah, good
morning. Okay, Jefferson Jaho, so this one is just coming in from Bon County. Concerned women of Swakoko have staged a protest calling on the government to address and intervene in the Phoebe Hospital nurses go slow or action. So you see, this is it. Our mothers are out. Go ahead, Jefferson.
Yeah. Our president. Almost 4 days ago, we didn't know our president where let them tell where is the president. Let them brief us.
president going incommunicado.
That we concern about our president. Even though their position is just starting, the bishop said they were arguing, causing the bishop. Now their position just starting. You don't go nowhere. You don't tell where the president go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning, Abu and Austin. My name is Herman Harbo, and I'm phoning for Outline Community Red Light.
Go ahead.
Thank you for what you're doing for country. Just to remember you people. You see, people just squarely place it. I think there should be a time where we should forget about politics. The party people can sit on the table and listen in the morning to this kind of offers to them about leadership. Because these people does not mean well for this country. For when people for the genesis of this entire government, it was spoken about, the ignorance, Professor Kilone, they insulted the clergyman, and this is how they are going now with the country, no his or thing. What for that? They want to call them madam. They give it over. They just supposed to just surrender one them.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
You guys are doing excellent well. I mean, to recover from money to this, I mean, it is very much a fact. Because you know what? You guys always tell the truth. Because the truth can never, you will not lie for the truth. But when you start lying, the thing you will not be everybody will record the truth. So let me applaud you over that. Some issue. Mr. Abu, the country is sad. The country is on a daily basis on his back. So because the country is up to now, we are in worry. So the back is going on. I speak to you in Turkey. The country is the issue against the drug issue. No, it's not the same stuff in Kwame. In fact, the cooking is the grandfather to close. Look at the country today. When I came to the street this morning, when I come to my house of God, they said that the other people are up there taking people on the street. To the street, if I say the person get back, what is here? The rescue is going to tell us that if you want to offend our bosses, the bosses will not be packing water again. No directions. The country is confused. The country is confused. We don't know where we're going to get. Thank you so kindly for affording the opportunity, Abu.
Okay, thank you very much. Momo Saba, you explain that you won't take all the contract. Good morning. Good morning. Also, they make all the contract. Man, take all the contract. Give it to cigar. You go to CBL, the man there. You go to Asilometer, the man there. You go to airport, 9-year contract. The senator, man, on a company take all the private security contracts.
How is he even winning all of these contracts? The same thing we're talking about, how using his position as senator to influence, to backing on all of these agreements, as if to say there's only one security firm operating in the country. But we still say we want to build a private sector that we expand a private sector. How do you expand a private sector when you giving monopoly to one person?
Exactly.
You're saying one thing and doing something else. Let the private companies bid for these contracts, display their potentials, defend their potentials, justify their potentials, and you award the contracts to them. The good thing about the private security firms in the country, all the private security firms in the countries are all owned and operated by Liberians. Seasoned security personnel. Some even have more practical experience in the service than Momo Cyrus. So why is he winning? I don't want to call it winning. Why is he being awarded all of the contracts? As if to say there is no other private security firm operating in the country. You can't allow one man or one company to operate at a disadvantage of others. You render the others insignificant, inexperienced, unnecessary. They lack capacity. Come to think about this. I remember there was a point in time where they wanted to negotiate to give, I think, 60% or 40%, 60% of the contract to SIGA and give 40% to another Liberian-owned company that is owned by a seasoned security personnel. And Momo tried to fight that again.
What? It took
Yes.
9 years.
You can't do that.
And his firm has been in charge of security at the airport.
Airport.
They just been compromising
Everything.
Cooking
Now
them,
take
going
responsibility
inside.
for
And
this.
take responsibility.
He
He
said
won't take
no.
responsibility.
I mean, tell me.
Yeah. Because from Lofa senator.
The other day he was on the airport misbehaving. They said they wanted to search a bag. He refused.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Somebody called me that
He
night
refused.
from the airport. He
He
brought
didn't
all
refuse.
kind of funny things.
He didn't just refuse. He insulted the custom officers.
I said,
Insulted.
I just missed the call.
They did a video. They probably recorded him. He insulted the custom officers while they want to search his bags. They may bring liquor.
Liquor, yeah. He brought in liquor and didn't want to declare it and didn't want it to be searched. Nothing.
Yes. So he brought in the liquor, huge. I mean, up to 2 suitcases.
Mm-hmm.
So alcohol, the whiskey and gin and thing. My man declared it. You senator, we pay you all these.
All the money. You come.
Hey man, how can you be so
disrespecting
wicked? Yes.
the people at the
So,
airport.
Chief,
say
can we
because he's
search your
senator.
luggage? Because the weight was heavy. Let's search. You have to pay. You have to declare and pay. The man said no. The man insulted the misbehave at the airport. Today, when custom goes to complain, or when LRA goes to complain at the Senate, they will say, oh, the people didn't respect the senator. Custom officers are powerful people. Imagine a senator does not want to pay. If he's smuggling goods into the country. He goes scot-free, and the ordinary Liberian is compelled. Yesterday, somebody came from China. She called complaining. Her cosmetics she brought, and they took everything from her at the airport. I said, but that's the rule. But the point is, the rule only applies to the ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
To the ordinary.
Because that is equal to smuggling.
Yeah.
What Momo Sarr try to do is equal to smuggling. But if he never had anything funny, you'll be open to declaration and the relevant authority will do what they have to do and will go back. I mean, things are not fine in the country. When you say, hey, people look at it, and because we want to keep standing here, we're standing here just for you. But these guys, they come around, they make offers, they're saying all kinds of things, want to do something. If everybody's trying to be like the way you, the ordinary people, you sit in the test, say you're getting fair with other people because they're talking the right thing, you're getting angry. So all of that design. The very government killing yourself or they're begging us to kill all things. They say, oh my man, you shut up. My man, you forget about it. So we decide okay for there won't be because you're talking you're seeing I'm making plow to the Hatay Center. Some of your English name, your Kisi accent is just all over the English. You can't even talk. You're in the community making plow your friends simply because you're Kisi man and Kisi man. That Kisi man you eat, that Kisi man will send your children to school, right? You see a Kisi man blundering and the whole country going down, right? And lastly, we're trying to get a lot of information on this, the release of this Marco guy, right, from prison, that's generating a lot of things. There is a clause on our law that talk about compassionate leave, right, from prison. It's defined, right? It's defined under the circumstances by which it's supposed to happen, all of that. And I was just forwarded a news article by Voice of America, the VOA, by James Botte, when in 2014, the Supreme Court of Liberia suspended Justice Minister Ta. You remember?
Yeah, in that 19,000 Korean men.
No, that one was the Rodney, the release of Rodney from prison, right? In a crystal situation. And the then Minister of Justice, Christina Ta, argued that it was within her purview as Attorney General to release prisoners on compassionate grounds. But the Supreme Court did not see it that way. So the suspender, I think the president was saying okay with it, and it happened. They revoked her legal license and all the things. So that action was taken because the release of journalist C.A. in the wisdom of the court sent the man to jail because the court believed that he failed to pay a 1.5 million label fine to former Minister of Agriculture, J. Christo. So in the event of that, Justice Minister using their power to go release the man, the court had an issue. So this is a reminder to the current Supreme Court that the Constitution puts you in a position to correct abnormalities with our system. With this debate about how the brother left the code, blah, 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 and if it is found that the procedure and the processes by which whoever judge released that man, you don't have to wait for the public. The Supreme Court has to come in, and the dead silence of the Supreme Court at this point, judging by precedent, right, is also worrying. The Supreme Court has to take action because this is an officer of the court. So how did the suspect who was charged, prosecuted, and sent to jail left the custody of the court, and they said there was a judge that sanctioned that, and the judge must be able to explain the reason to the Supreme Court, and if not, the Supreme Court must take decisive judicial action against that judge while the public is having conversation about anything. So let's start fixing it at every level. They play a sport to the Supreme Court or the court area, the court people deal with. The legislators, Momo Saros, I think the Putin has to be bold now. This is a test to Putin Yombly's leadership to take decisive leadership and exemplary action on Momo Saros.
Yeah.
Forget about all that argument that thing ain't on. They must take leadership action on Momo Saros. We can't compromise the country. What kind of man? That's greediness. Your greed, you want to take everything for yourself. You put a security firm to the airport that compromises our security. That whole place. Because first of all, that display is a justification of how your security people been running the place. Cocaine entering the place. So why will put you there now? 9 years contract. You use your contact, your connections, your local relations, you get it something. They pull you there. Compromise. Our whole place empty. Every day we crying on the airport. Now need a Momosa company over there compromising things. And he say nobody more hold him responsible for that. No, who you still remain the chief executive officer of SIGA. So the Senate must take action. The Senate must do something. The Senate must ask you to step aside. To step aside. Because you're a party to this thing. For as long as the company is registered under your name and you're the chief executive officer, the senior decision maker of that, it is not possible that all these things will happen all these years and you tell that you don't know anything about it. That you know anything about it. Step aside. Because your presence on any kind of conversation around this could be undermining of the investigation. So you see the mess we are in. We're in a serious mess. The people who are supposed to be our representative, our lawyers, our lawmakers, blah, blah, are themselves because of greed. They want to take it all. Concession in the company, in the country, senators, lawmakers, so just said they won't be president. They backtrack all over, they put it there. So what in the ordinary man would do? Security company, lawmaker uses lawmaking, position, take all the private security contract. So those librarians are not in government. So what thing they will survive by? That's how wrongly the country is moving. You talk here, they get fast. They say, oh, this, oh, that. We have 10 more minutes. So
yeah,
let's continue with the course and can be out of here. Good morning. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to tell the Unity Party we are Liberian. And the government will move a Liberia with still see. The president will come, president will go. But our country will still see. Today, Model will come in back to destroy the whole of Grand Battle. But we stood against Model and then the plan came with that plan for them. So, we got 27.
July 17th.
Yeah, I told them that boy is a park and smoke. Tell your party provide and smoke. And then your party want to lead that smoke when he's off, will be paid for that smoking.
Okay.
So they all come all that.
Okay, so you call the UP smoke to come out and tell their party in the smoke.
And make the government unpopular.
Okay. All right, thank you. From where there in Grand Bassa. So good morning.
Good morning, Abu, and let me say good morning to Austin.
Good morning,
My name is Eugene S. Dribble Jr. and I call you from Capital Parks. Like you put it, we're in a serious disaster. And this information coming from your is not the first time Igbo started since even before 2023. You put educated Liberian people as to electing Mr. Bwaka, how danger it could be for the country. And now what we find ourselves, and I'm predicting more calamity. Even though I'm a Liberian, but there are signs and symptoms you see. You predict whether it will be good or bad. But what we are seeing now, more especially when the president is not in control. You know, the president is not in control, and the country is the whole governing system is divided. It's a complete problem for us, complete disaster. So, we don't know what to tell, but our hands are only up, and and this is for us. We support the July protest. Let us. We are not going to vandalize things. We are going to call on the international community. We are also going to call on President Bwaka to take charge. They take charge.
I agree. Thank you very much, Eugene Dribble. So we get a report that the workers' union at LPRC are having issues.
Okay, but let's talk to Arvin Wise. Masisi, you have to stop calling me because Arvin is on the WhatsApp. So Masisi, please, Masisi, please don't call me until Arvin leaves the line, then I will talk to you. Arvin, go ahead. Let's hear you. It's been a while.
Yeah, thank you. Certainly, Comrade Kawa, and let me say good morning, Abu.
Morning.
Yeah. I would like to weigh in on the conversation that has been today that has taken a national debate with the statement made by Lema Bowie. I think I cannot. I will not agree with Lema Bowie 100%. That is in totality. I think her statement is a hasty generalization and mischaracterization of all of the lawmakers who she claimed to be dishonorable, and no one should call them honorable. Well, in as much as there are few of them that are honorably proceeding. If you look at the current batch of lawmakers in the 55th National Legislature, Abu and that of Austin, nobody needs to tell you that they are dishonorable. I think when people speak, given the time and condition and season, then the dispensation, we're talking about the current dispensation of lawmakers. The caliber of lawmakers today, their actions, what a day to fanatico for circumventing the laws. What a day to yeke only somebody espousing that discuss on national issues, and you have to pass down the law to taking and removing. You see the situation happening to the Guinean border. There's so many laws, so many things. People, civil servants. You talk about 10 positions. Lot more things happening, and the lawmakers are not being very honorable enough to expeditiously execute and discharge their oversight responsibilities to put some of the situation under control. People get frustrated and they use certain strong diction. It has to be construed from a contextual background and not on the basis of, for me, of forgotten spouse. I think Lema Bowie's position, even though it's a blanket statement because it generally attacks all of the lawmakers, but there are few progressive ones. But on the overall, the majority of them over there do not deserve the need to be called honorable, and are prepared to stand in any debate and provide my defense and
there's a difference between what you're saying
from Liman's.
And so you're saying something else, and Lima is saying something else. Lima is saying is generalizing or expressions against the legislature, and you are qualifying it. You are saying majority of them. So there's a difference between what you're saying and what she's saying. And that's our point. We can call them out. We can call them out on their ineffectiveness, on their lawlessness and things, on specific issues. But to generally say, do not refer to everybody as honorable. For us, we found that out of order.
You're postulating something completely different from what Lehman said.
Okay, maybe I will have to. But if I got Lima right and she was directly, I mean, looking at the frustration in the country, I mean, people may remarks based on the frustration, right?
But I mean, Lima at her level is supposed to be one of those joining us to help manage the emotions of people, you know, and ensure that standards is well protected and Liberians are well guided towards, you know, towards standards. Instead of saying Liberians, Abby, you could be in our house tomorrow. Do you want somebody to tell you don't call Abby honorable because Representative Ostikawa shift or misbehave? I'm just using that analogy you're trying to buy into it.
The point is Lima is exercising of constitutional right of freedom of expression, and it has to be construed in that context. The next thing is that under which circumstance, under which atmosphere is Nima raising no concerns? Under the circumstance and atmosphere when we have this honorable thing going on, 19 million jobs today, nobody can get account, people arresting people.
I mean, everything you're saying, Abu is in agreement with you, I'm in agreement with you. All we're saying here is to generalize this, to encast a general expressions about, I mean, over all the 73 or 103 lawmakers, we found that unfair and disrespectful to our own laws and standards established by our country. The same law you try to protect here is the same law that Lima is trying to disrespect here.
So
is our debate now if you're losing the debate because you didn't understand.
No, I'm not. I haven't lost the debate. So I think it's a good conversation, very interesting one. We can look at it from a broader perspective. Lema's argument, it is not a constitutionally imperative argument that comes directly from the constitutional mandate. Like, because Lema say it so automatically. Everybody is dishonorable. I think that's not the narrative we want to project in the public domain, the public space, because it comes from Lima Bowie.
But that's the narrative she's projecting now.
No, but it will be intellectually dishonest to think that Lima Bowie doesn't have the right to project what she envisages, what she's foreseeing, what she's
projecting your right should not mean instruct everybody to follow you. She just project her right to speak. She said nobody should call them honorable, including you, Avin. She said nobody should call them honorable. So you should not call Foko honorable. You should not call Maggie honorable. You should call Desi Sibu honorable because Lima does not see them as honorable. That's what she's saying.
Do you agree with that?
So honorability comes with responsibility. Can we ask Lima the questions? What are the basis of our general assertion, being projected in against honorable people in this country? Can we ask Lima those questions and let Lima be able to explain what happened? I think my argument is that I do not agree with Lima generally, but I have national view. I have the world view that when people are called honorable, particularly honor governance in terms of the responsibility are aligned and the particular offices, people have got certain responsibility to the public, and if the responsibilities are not commensurating with public expectation, and particularly with governance and the implementation of policies and stuff, and the kind of a situation we see in our country where there's a breakdown, completely breakdown.
You're erroneous. These are honorifics. These are designed to accord due respect to the offices, right? But not necessarily the deportment of the individual. The deportment of the individual may not conform to the standard of the office, but you cannot erase.
Because the Constitution said we should call everybody honorable, so I'm gonna call criminal honorable.
That's left of you, but don't why you choose not to call a criminal honorable?
I should call.
See somebody as a criminal, but the person cannot be criminal to the other man, right? So
Do you
that
agree with
I
that?
understand. So Lima may think that they are not honorable, but they may be honorable in.
That is the relativity of speech and expression that Lima Bowie enjoys. I don't think.
Okay, so this is where
we
we say Lima overstep, and of course, our generalization was hasty, and hasty generalization, of course, for the most part, does not conform to logical reason. You know that.
Yeah, so can I conclude my thought?
Yeah, few seconds so we can talk to others.
Yeah, thank you. So I am saying here when speeches are made and public assertions are made, don't forget, Lima is a diplomat and an award-winning Nobel Peace laureate who has been in the diplomatic.
She didn't sound that one.
No, I come in.
So these are some of the reasons why we place your statement under scrutiny, because she's a diplomat, Avi, and you are a diplomat in Trinity.
No, I'm a diplomat.
So you are supporting Lima. You are supporting Lima for rallying, impolite towards our lawmakers. Do you support that?
No, how would you trying to implicate?
No, but that's the context. That's what her statement suggests.
No. So let me learn.
You're a learner, but you crash learning because you.
If I ask you to learn,
you crash learning because is that you are far out of context, and I mean your logic seems shaking.
It's
a shaky logic, man.
Okay, let me just conclude.
Go ahead.
Okay, so like I said, every statement, every remark, every speech that one made, it has different context in terms of the environment and the atmosphere. I'm not too sure most of the platform Lima has been mounting on the international pedestal or the diplomatic eclipse. She has made those statements because she understands the environment, she understands the context.
She started denigrate our legislature.
No. I just
okay. I mean, thank you. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I have respect for you. You know that one. Yeah.
He's trying to repair in a way, but
that's all the Man City. Then we'll Man City. Let's hear you.
Me, I know you also. Thank you for the show.
What do you want?
You want to give flower my sword.
Go ahead.
So you put a hole in and put it with Avi here. What's our time?
No, leave that one
You were wrong, but tell me. You look for the you were wrong on that part. Everybody can say that, oh, but as you're standing the pose out, but you look for the phone. It was we got few. We can say, oh, ever had a mind or speak up, but you're still more custom. Tell the person when I'm
the real thing. It's not everybody agree in the country, but we have to call.
Yeah, we want to do that. We want to do it. You can't figure out our love because in that way. And man, you can't do that to the phone. Let's agree that you're fucking the whole more grand than honorable shit. But you can't say more condemn don't call the elbow. So condemn to show people. You might go with who condemn you. Your people. How many man go you hire for your minimum boy or gamble? No, I feel have to be the 20 sorry.
Thank you. Bro, look, it looks so civilized watching the British Parliament, my man. Disagreements. How the guys channel the disagreements. When ministers are called, when the prime minister goes to, they disagree. They use some strong adjectives against the prime minister. The disagreement stays within the confines of standards. The standards established.
Yeah, we're gonna remove.
Yeah, you can remove. No.
System now.
That's the point.
We can strongly disagree with some of the lawmakers. Some of them can get.
Okay, say let's destroy the standard. Let's disrespect the standard because we disagree. No.
So I think
I see Avin try to call, but I think Troy. But I mean, we don't want to. We can call you here next week. We're trying to have a conversation around this thing next week. We can get some youth leaders, politicians, and things. Bring them here. Let's have a conversation about Lima thing in the legislature. Place it in our own context and see which context we can place it in, and then have a conversation around it. Should we agree not to call lawmakers honorable? You have to justify that.
That is quite different from whether their actions are honorable
or dishonorable.
No. If you say we're trying to say basically let's get rid of that honorific
because they don't
project going forward. Let's just call them by their name: James Collier, Richard Kuhn.
That's a show organization,
and you can imagine that's the kind of society that she's probably trying to project. And I'm not sure that's where we want to go. So,
let's get having this dispensation 1 minute. I will give you this 1 minute dispensation, and then we have to go. We're already minutes into the other announcer's term. Let's hear you just in 1 minute.
Thank you. So for my preamble, for my introduction, I was very clear that it was a holistic generalization, and I do not support.
What are we arguing here?
Okay, understood now. The debate is clear.
It's clear. When you say it was a hasty generalization, then there's no need because
it's very clear. So Avin has retracted. He has shifted gears. Yes.
We have to go.
I've been losing the debate. He let losing debate. They are debate lose it. We're taking you again. Comrade. They won't buy you lose it. So the brother has backpedaled already. So you come back next time to come redeem yourself, but it's late. But yeah, it was nice. And of course, we're going to be here next week. It's always a good thing interacting with you, people on the issues that matter. Yeah, July 17th, of course. And I like to give my personal endorsement to it. And I like to commend the courage of the organizers and all of those solidarity forces, the young people from the University of Liberia, PUSA and SOUP. And so, yes, we're going to be there. We're going to watch it. This is a moment for us to reset the clock or continue to wallow in the confusion of misrule, bad governance, terrible representation of our country, joke, and of course compromises in the system, bribery, and everything. So come out, 17. Let's tempt or let's call the boss to stop. Let the boss stop there, and let's see what happens going forward. What adjustment the government makes, what adjustment the president makes, and see what happens for our country up to 2029. It's a long period. We have 3+ years to go. That's a long time, a hell of a long time. And closed up. Okay, I like to say happy pre-birthday to my wife. My wife celebrates her birthday on tomorrow, and it's a good thing that it's also a break. So we're going to be off. We're going to be appreciating my wife tomorrow for all the support.
I want to ask me one question. I don't know what else you ask me.
I ask me all like I got married.
Otherwise, you ask me that question.
A kid to this.
But you ask me the question about the king, the empty king.
Then otherwise, answer the question about the black bottles. Answer the question about black bottles. My man got a home. Chelsea man already here. And we buying the talent, the good talents, then we buying it from there.
David B, you won't start. What the case is, I'd like to say happy pre-birthday to Mrs. Sharif and wish you all of the best. I celebrate a new beginning and a continuation of life. Also, today is the birthday of Henry Hassan Conte of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I'd like to say happy birthday to you, bro. Thanks to all of you for watching, for listening, and we shall be back here next week by God's grace. But until then, do have yourselves pleasant moments in your respective areas. My name is Austin Kawa Abu Sharif was here. Bye-bye.